from, you said? Your grandpa?
Oh, my grandpa, Ben Eller, and Annie, his wife, she was a Stout, Annie Stout. And they lived in North Wilkesboro. And why they moved up here, I don't know. Unless the law got after him. he run up here.
Hey, I heard there was too many people selling moonshine in Wilkes, so he was looking.
That could have been it right there.
He was looking for a new territory.
Yeah, that could have been it right there. I don't know how he done it, but son, he bought all that land. My daddy's part was 170 some acres.
Huh.
Just his part. Well, there's Os got his part. Charles got his part. Ernest got his part. Besides my daddy's, I don't know how much. Then there was Jack got the orchard up there in front where Joanne, Jack's daughter, built her house, and I don't know where he got all that land.
That's a lot of land.
A lot of land. But of course, I told you this about that fella back over on the beach. We delivered
fertilizer.
Yeah, we delivered stuff to him, and he's the one he owned. Of course, we had to go off down in there as far as we could go with a pickup truck, and he met us with a sled, horse and sled.
Yes.
And he told J.D. Ellis is who was with in an old international pickup delivering stuff over to him. And he said, J.D., he said, I got a job down at plants, Bimberg, northeastern Bimberg plants down there at Elizabeth. And he said, I need to move down there. And he said, it was 90 some acres of land in here. And he said, I'm behind on the tax on it. And he said, if your mom and dad will pay this tax off, they can have the land, and I'll move on down there, Elizabeth. And J.D. told him, said, I don't think they don't want no land. Nobody wanted land up here. This man couldn't do nothing to it, pay taxes on it and squirrel hunt.
Now it's worth a fortune.
Yeah. There ain't no telling how much it sold for.
Sam, y'all didn't have power when you was born here?
No.
What year were you born?
1927.
1927.
Yeah.
Wow. So you're about right at 99?
I am 99.
You're
99 this month.
Oh, hey, happy birthday.
Yeah, 99 this month.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't have... See, that's the reason Bill Baum built that ice plant up there where Blair made sleds. You know, this is your pass where Big Scaly, you stand up there and see Big Scaly.
Yes.
And look off down in there.
On the Elk River, right?
Yeah, the Elk River. And
by the old homestead.
Yeah, and I don't know who tore it down, or I guess it just rotted down and fell. I don't know, but it's a big old thing.
Did you work there?
I carried water from the mix of cement in 5-gallon buckets, and for 7 cents an hour.
How much?
Wow.
7 cents an hour. I carried them big old 5-gallon buckets, and I was just a little old boy.
How old were you, Sam?
I don't remember, but I was probably 6, 7, or 8 years old.
Just a young.
Yeah, just young. And yeah, but it was famous up there where Blair made all them sleds.
What kind of sleds were they? Like sleds for?
Yeah, where you see horses pulling. You know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They had wagons and sleds, and
people come to buy them.
Yeah, people come. Yeah, they'd buy them fast as he made them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'd buy sleds fast as he made them.
I'm guessing back then those were pretty crucial for farming up here.
Oh yeah. You see them sleds, you could take them where you couldn't take a wagon. Yeah, so you couldn't. But
a wagon wouldn't go where.
No, you couldn't. You couldn't take a wagon in there.
Yeah.
You take a wagon up some of them hills and start off that hill with it, and horses and wagons all wind up down in the holler.
Hey, where'd you go to school, Sal?
They tore that old school down there at Heaton, and that's the one I went to.
Okay.
And there's a mile from my daddy's house down to the school. And the school bus at that time, if you lived within a mile or less to the school, they wouldn't pick you up. You had to walk it. And you talk about a little old boy, 6 years old, or 5, I think it was then, you started the school. And them winter times that we had up here then, and that a little 5 or 6 year old boy walking a mile to school.
My goodness.
I was tough back then.
Was it a dirt road?
No, it's highway down when you got down to where Jury is.
Yeah, on 194.
Yeah, I told you about the back then. You could take a sleeping bag and go down there and lay down and spread it out and lay down in the middle of the road after 9 o'clock and sleep there the next morning. They wouldn't have to run over you. They wasn't they wasn't no traffic.
Well, what do you remember about the area when you were growing up here? How's it different now than it was then? What are some things you might remember about growing up here in the hills?
Well, I don't know what you mean, except there wasn't no jobs. You had to go out somewhere to work. The fella that lived just right there where Star Gwen, the old house is tore down now. He worked it, and then they rode Tweetsea down there and back. Then they had a bus running too, turned around up for Cranberry.
So the Tweetsea train station was in Elk Park?
Oh yeah, went right. It's where the road is now, not the road down. See that road up there, what you call above town. There wasn't no road up there then. That was a railroad.
Okay, where the highway is now.
Where the highway is now.
Yeah.
And the depot set, if you go through town right there and go into that other road, that depot set right there on the right.
Okay.
I think Joe might have some pictures of that depot. Somebody did. Somebody was showing me the pictures.
How many brothers did you have, Sal?
I just had one.
One.
Yeah, I
What was
had
his
one
name?
brother and 2 sisters. Peggy, the one owned the country house, and Maxine lived up there above the town. Married Clark Ellis.
What was your brother's name?
My brother, when he was about 3 years older than me, he come out of World War II. He went before I did and things, and when he come out, we didn't have nothing. There wasn't no jobs. There wasn't nothing for us, you know. And the government said, we're going to pay you $100 a month and give you a choice of 2 things. For us to pay you that, you have to farm or you have to go to school. My brother took farming, and I went to, at that time, Lee's McCurry up here was a 2-year school instead of a 4-year. And I started going, I went to school. I took that instead of farming. I said when I went in service, I walked out of them fields and I went in service, I said, I don't want to ever see another gooseneck hole. I don't use one.
Is that what you use?
Yeah, that's what we call them, gooseneck holes. They had that neck like that, you know.
And what was that?
Gooseneck hose.
In the fields when they would hold the potatoes and all, they'd use that gooseneck hoe. After the war, when they came home, his brother went into farming and he went and got an education, and they got paid $100 a month by the government to do that. And because there wasn't any jobs, you ask him You know, what he remember or what he thinks about today. He said back then there weren't no jobs.
No, there wasn't no jobs.
So farming, if you would farm, they'd give you money, and if you got an education, they'd give you money. So that's what he and his brother. What was your brother's name, Sam?
John.
John. That's
John
right.
Eller.
John Eller. Yeah.
John Henry Eller.
John Henry Eller. And what's your middle name, Sam?
Franklin.
Sam Franklin.
Eller Jr.
Say it again.
Sam Franklin Eller Jr.
Right.
My daddy was the firstborn boy was, if you're going to name after one of your child's after you, your daddy, you know, it's supposed to be the firstborn, but it wasn't that way with me. See, the firstborn with my daddy was Maxine, my sister.
Yeah.
Then John Henry come along.
Yeah.
Then I come along.
Yeah.
Then 11 years later, Peggy come along.
Yeah.
And they're all dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Jerry come along somewhere down there, did he?
Well, Joanne was older than Jerry, and Joanne was about 3 years old when Jack got killed, and Jerry was 6 months old.
How'd Jack get killed again?
She, that old stub-nosed 41 Dodge truck went off the road. You know, after you pass Dick Eller's place and go on down and go around the curve and start down, and you're going around there, then around like this, and there's a deep curve, and you go up on the hill, and the old mill dam we talked about was down there. Well, now when you get there and you go around this deep curve, she's coming this way, and she went right off into the river.
Golly.
Yeah. Now Abe Johnson had a house right in that curve, set off in the bushes up in there.
Yeah.
And he said now, that's what he told somebody. He didn't tell me, but he told somebody, and they told me that he heard her screaming when she...
Huh.
I wouldn't say nothing like that in front of Jerry, but
Yeah.
he heard her screaming and she went off of there.
Yeah.
But she went all the way to the river.
What else is different here now, Sam?
Well, there was houses down through here.
Where you at here?
Yeah, right here. The road was back that old 29 is come through. You had to go through Elk Park, you know. You didn't have that road up there.
Yeah.
This road down through here was built. I don't know what year this road was built, but it was a long time ago.
So when the railroad was here, there was another road called 29 that ran back down here.
That's still there, you know.
Still, that back road.
Yeah, back road.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that comes out back down yonder.
Comes out right down there.
Yeah. Yeah. I know where you're talking about.
I don't know that.
Are the people different today, Sam? Are the people different today?
How you mean different?
Is there a different culture today than there was back then?
No. This still old hillbilly. Ain't changed. Well, they gonna change.
Right.
Well, I ain't gonna change either.
Right.
I ain't changing.
What about the food? You eating different food today than you used to?
No.
Didn't you used to garden everything?
Oh yeah.
Now you just
everybody had if you didn't have a garden, you were just a lazy so and so. If you didn't have a garden, everybody had a garden. You had to. You put up in the fall of the year what you're going to eat that winter. People had cellars, not many now, but those people had cellars. I bet you. Do you know what a cellar is?
I do.
Do you?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. We don't have those down there, but y'all have them up here.
We had them up here. I don't know whether people has them now.
Did you have one at your daddy's house?
No, we didn't.
Did you have one at your grandma and grandpa's?
No, we had that basement, the grandma's and grandpa's house. You know that basement where Jerry tucked in? Oh, you put all your stuff down there.
Okay.
What kind of stuff would you keep down there?
Well, the dirt, the places in there where there's nothing but dirt, and they was it was in it was kind of a hole like thing, a hole, and you'd put your potatoes, bring your potatoes out of the field, dig them, and you go in there and pour them in that hole, and they just lay there and keep.
All winter long.
All winter long, yeah. Then they had that spring box that was come from that spring across the road, and it had a thing built with concrete, and it was about that high, and it had a pipe with the water running in it, and it would be run down this way, and it'd be about that deep, and then it'd go out another pipe and go off the bank into the river, and that's where you keep your milk and stuff. Now, people that didn't have that in their house would go up to the spring, and they took wood and built a box and put it right where that water come out of that spring, and they would that spring box would have water about 6 or 8 inches deep. And that was your refrigerator. That's what would keep your milk and butter
fresh.
It wasn't cold, but it wasn't hot.
It was fresh, right?
Yeah.
Now that's different. That's different. I never experienced that. So today, folks don't do that too much. I don't think.
I don't know of anybody. Everybody's got refrigerators now, and deep freezers got them deep freezers in them and things, and there wasn't no way you'd keep ice cream from melting when I was growing up. Now you can just throw it in that
box over there.
Yeah, I usually keep about 3 boxes of brown mules, and they don't last long. Now I'm waiting right now. I'm out, but I'm waiting right now because if I go to Newland, I get 3 boxes of brown mules, and I start home. Time I wait in line to pay for them for 10 minutes, then get on out in the car or truck and get over here. Them things is melted. I'm waiting right now for it to get cold enough that I can go over and get me out 3 or 4 boxes.
That'll be tomorrow, right?
I don't know whether it'll be cold enough tomorrow or not.
They said 34 is low tomorrow.
Oh, well then, yeah, that'll be good tomorrow. Yeah. Yeah, my grandma and grandpa Eller come in here from North Wilkesboro, and I don't know I never heard anybody talk about it or anything, how he found the land or how he got the money to buy it. But he also up there at Cranberry Gap, off up in them mountains up in there, he owned a lot of land in there.
What do you remember about them? How were they like as people?
You mean my grandma?
Yes, your grandparents, yes, sir.
They just old mountain people. Yeah, that's about all I know to tell you about them. They're just old mountain people.
What do you think makes them mountain people?
Well, mountain people, you sit here and watch that television, and you see these people from up here in Washington, New York, and Florida, and them places. They don't talk like we do. Matter of fact, if one of them goes up there and they talk to him, they like the way he talks. But back when I went in the service in World War II, they didn't talk like I did. They'd say, "There's another hillbilly." Yeah, they just a different.
What year did you join the military, sir?
I guess it was probably. I know the Germans surrendered first. They surrendered, but the Japanese wouldn't surrender. And then they dropped that bomb on them, one of the towns, and they didn't surrender. And then dropped it on Hiroshima, and they surrendered. And I think that was That was either 44 or 45. I was in there about 2 years. I guess I went in 43 and 44 and got discharged in around 44, 45. I can't remember too much about it.
And you went in the Navy?
Yeah.
What was your job? What was your job? What'd you do in the Navy?
Oh. We just was out there on the sea and messing around and looking for what we could do.
You were on a ship?
Yeah.
What ship were you on?
I'll be dadgone if I know. I was on different ones, and I think I might have told you this. I was on one time, and it come up this storm out there, and it would look like that I was in an airplane looking out from them waves that ran. Then it'd go down. Not the big ships didn't do this. Now them little Liberty ships. Then it'd go down and you'd think you was on a submarine, you know. You didn't see nothing.
Surrounded by water.
Didn't see nothing but water.
Yeah.
But
what was your job on the ship?
Well, it was just keeping the guns and things clean. And if there's airplanes on it, you'd have to go around and turn them propellers to, I don't know. I didn't ask why we had to do that. And they didn't tell me why I had to do it. I didn't ask no question. I just done what they told me to do, and that was it.
It's a good soldier. So that's a good soldier.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't really trying to be good. I just trying to keep out of trouble.
Where did you go in the Navy at? Do you remember where you went to join?
Uncle Eugene's girl, Mary, had an office over there in Newland during the war. And you went over and seen her to join up. And when I went over there, and I finally lied my way in, because my daddy, he wasn't, at that time, he wasn't a Christian man, but he wouldn't lie. You'd had the lie that got me in. Well, I finally lied myself in. And she sent me, and Jimmy Shoemaker, and they was two boys from Minneapolis, and I know their name, but I can't think of it right now. But anyway, they sent us to Raleigh for our physical. One of them they turned down, and the other, me and Jimmy and that other boy, the tall, slim boy, passed, and they sent us on off then. They put us on a bus and sent us to, I believe it was Bainbridge, Maryland. And the big old tall boy lived on the right, just below Minneapolis, on the right there, and I know his name and I can't think of it. Anyway, we was all there at the barracks and taking our training, and the master sergeant, somebody come in there and told him that he was get his things ready, that he is going home. And they told him that his brother had just, his parents had just got word that his brother got killed over there somewhere or another. And he came home, and Then they formed the thing called the CBs. I think what they done was that they went out and built airstrips on these islands, for the land planes on. And they took Jimmy into the CBs. I don't know why. I didn't have no education, but I could drive a truck or anything like that, drive anything. And Jimmy, he was educated, because his daddy was a banker up there at Banner Elk, Jim Shoemaker. And they took him into the CBs. They didn't give you no choice. They just said, you're going. And when they said you're going, you went. And they took him and left me there. And they'd send me here and send me there. And sometimes I wondered. Now, I heard over the television about 2 or 3 months ago that the Germans, they always feared the Germans on account of the submarines. Back then, everybody talked about the German submarines. Oh, they'll whip us. They got all them submarines. And them submarines was a slipping into these big cities like New York and these big cities, and they'd sink a ship. And then they'd go back out there and go to the bottom, turn everything off, and you couldn't find them. I don't know, but they sent me out there a lot, and I'm thinking that they was trying to get one of them submarines to sink that ship,
Show themselves.
Yeah, then they could pick them up and drop them barrels in there, and they'd explode, and they could get them then. I don't know that, but that's the only thing I could figure it out.
You thought you was a decoy ship.
I think that's the only thing I can figure it was, but I don't know.
Didn't you say you were on one of the smaller ships when you were out there? You were on the big ones?
Yeah, mostly I was on them smaller ships. But them ships, I never could figure them out. The bottom doesn't built like that, and they put weight on them. They go down so far. I was listening to it the other day. And on some of them ships they got out there, they're talking about hauling 60 tons of stuff. I don't have the name of God, but they stay on the water. It looked to me like it hit bottom, put that much weight on it, but they don't.
They're made of steel, Sam.
Yeah, but steel sinks.
Hey, Sam, how many people in your family served? Did you serve? Your dad?
Oh, Lord.
Serve? Your brother served? Your grandpa's? Who served?
My brother served, my grandpa and daddy, stuff like that. But I served, my brother John served, Peggy, my sister, her husband served, and I don't know. There's a lot of them, and if you get into my cousins, God, there's a slew of them.
And your boys, how many? Tony served?
Tony served, yeah. Tony served. And if you want to get into cousins, Uncle Eugene had enough to make a company. him and Aunt Julie was. They had 13 or 14 kids. Most of them was boys.
Yeah.
And now there's a bunch of them went in there. Pat, Rollin, Dean.
Are those Ellers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uncle Eugene Eller's boys.
Yeah. They all served?
Yeah.
Now, what made you serve? Were you drafted, or what made you want to go into that office and join the service?
Everybody else was in there.
Mm-hmm.
So I said I might as well be. My brother, like I say, he's 3 years older than me, and he was in there, and this seemed like I don't know why I'd want to go with all the boys to tell. There wasn't nothing else here, and no jobs or anything, and I wanted to go a long time before I did. I wanted to go when I was real just young, but like I say, my daddy wouldn't lie. He wouldn't sign the papers that I reckon he's 17. I don't remember, but I guess they thought that was one way of getting rid of me is let me go on then. But I guess it's a good thing they did, because I've had good health and things, but down here at the VA hospital in Johnson City, if I'd had paid for everything that they done for me, it would have wound up in $millions of dollars.
Well, Sam, you did pay, brother. You paid with your service. You put your life on the line, and you paid that bill in 1943 and 1944, and then you come home, and that bill was already paid, Sam.
Yeah, I guess so. You have to look at it that way, but I don't look like I was that valuable. I don't think I was that valuable, but I've had.
You were a good decoy, Sam.
I had to go to Asheville and have a heart operation. That's been 30-some years ago. And Lord, look what that would have cost and all. And I go down there at the VA, and they do stuff for me 2 and 3 times a year, and sometimes maybe 4 times. And that runs into money. I wouldn't. I guess I'm not saying anything that would throw any down on the Lord. The Lord has looked after me too. And that might have been the reason that I finally got in the service. But if it hadn't been for that VA down there, I wouldn't have had the money to go to the doctor when things got wrong with me. And so a lot of people says things about the VA, but I'll tell you one thing right now: it hadn't been for the VA, I'd have been dead a long time ago.
Nobody in the community would have paid your hospital bills, would they?
No. I guess they have their own hospital bills to pay.
Yeah. Well, your service paid for it, and it's all paid for as long as you live, Sam Eller.
Yeah, 99, I'm still going down there. As a matter of fact, I'm going this evening.
Now, what was that like for you growing up here in the mountains and then joining the service and getting to see, these other parts of the world that you got to go out to? What was that like? How was that kind of different for you?
Well, if it hadn't been for the service, going in the service, like I say, there'd been a lot of places where I've seen and done, and I wouldn't have been able to. I know that one time and this is after I got out of service, that there just wasn't no work around here, and a lot of boys from around here was going to Detroit and working in them automobile plants. And I went. Me and Toe Turby Field, and let's see, what was his boy's name? George Turby. Me and Toe and George Turby Field, we went up there and worked a while, and at Baltimore, worked at Chevrolet place there. And they run so many cars through there in an hour, I think about one a minute. And you had work to do on them. Coach Herbie Theo was a hard-working farming man up here. He was a hard worker. And we'd get off of the evening and come to the place where we was staying and rent a place there to stay. And he'd sit there and take his knife and bust blisters in his hands right up so he could work the next day. That's how hard they worked you. And we started one day, and they said, let's go to Detroit. And I said, let's go. We got in the car. We drove to Detroit and went to the Packard place, Packard Motor Company, where they made Packard cars. Went in there, where 60 an hour, one a minute was going through in Baltimore in the Chevrolet place. They was 12 going through there. And they put me with a boy installing windshields. That was one done. And we'd just slap that windshield in there, then sit around till the next one creeped up here. And we worked there for a while, and they went on strike, and George, the one that owned the car, he said, let's go home. And I guess both of them wanted to see their wife, let's go home. I said, well, let's go. So we went home, and I never did go back up there.
How long were you there for?
We wasn't there, but maybe 6 or 8 months, something like that. But they made Packard cars back then. Matter of fact, I own one. I owned a Packard one time. That thing was a good car. Who's Eller, my uncle out there at Bootleg, Dick's daddy. He'd borrow my Packard to go to Blowing Rock after a load of liquor with, because son, that thing fly. Big old 4-door green. Green Hornet.
So after the service, you got out, worked in Detroit for a little bit. What were some things you got yourself into after your years of service and coming home?
Well, I told him this before. I can tell you this. It's hard to believe, but it's truth. Ernest McGuire, Jerry's daddy, built a store out there at Heaton beside of the Heaton store and the Ellis store. And he had a cab over 40 Dodge truck. And that's the one his wife got killed in. And he would go to Kentucky Derby and get coal and bring it in here and sell it. And he'd also go to Winston-Salem to Weber Fertilizer Company and get 200-pound bags fertilized then instead of 100-pound bags and sell it to the farmers there in the spring of the year. Well, I would go to take that cab over Dodge truck, and I would go to the coal mines up there in Kentucky. And I'd go in the evening and get up there, and you'd park in line because there's so many trucks in there hauling it, they couldn't keep it loaded fast enough. And you'd have to sleep in that truck till the next morning. About 10, 11 o'clock, you would get loaded and get out. You'd come back to the store out there, and it'd be about dark. So the next morning, you'd come down there and you'd go to, over in the beach or ever who bought that coal. And most of them would want a half of a truckload instead of a truckload. You'd put boards in there halfway that truck to separate it. you'd go over there and you'd take a coal scoop, and you'd shovel that coal out, half load. Then you'd go to every who bought the other hay, and you'd carry it back, and you'd scoop and carry it back there and throw it out. And you'd come back to his store. Now that was 2 days of work, besides staying up there all night. How much do you think that I got paid for that?
Not a whole lot.
$7.
Okay.
$7.
Huh.
And I'm glad to get it. Glad to get it.
What could you do with $7 in those days?
Well, I tell you, I don't remember too much, but I tell you what I had to do with some of it. I had to turn around and pay him for the food he'd sold me on credit. But Ernest McGuire made sure that me and my brother John didn't go hungry, because he would sell us stuff and pay him when we could. And when my brother John moved to Valdez and worked down there in the furniture factory, making furniture, he didn't beat him out of a penny. He paid him so what he could at each time. And that's what I done when I went to work somewhere else. Why, I'd take him some money down there till I got him paid off. I hadn't paid him that penny I owed him. But it was hard to get a job. And when now up there when they built that ice plant up there, above where Alt Blair made sleds, they had to be water up there to mix with the cement, make cement for the floors in that ice plant. And I was just a small boy, 8 or 9 years old. And I carried water up there to mix that cement with from the river down there for 5 cents an hour in 5-gallon buckets. But it was better than nothing.
How much was a candy bar?
You get one of them Mr. Good bars, or them Hershey bars, was about that thick and longer than that, about that long. Well, you see them up there in the store now, but they cost you about $2 a half, $3 a bar. And we'd get one of them for a nickel.
How much was a hamburger?
Warney Gwen, now this is unusual. Warney Gwen put up a little old place right here at the end of town where Mike Smith's wife had got her old stuff in there. What do they call it? Antique store.
Thrift store, yeah.
He went in there, and Zilly, his wife, made hamburgers, and he sold them for 5 cents. Hamburgers, yeah. But when I run the diner out there at the intersection back in the 50s, 40s, and late 40s and early 50s, I sold them for, I believe, a quarter.
Yeah.
A quarter. Soft drink cost you a nickel. And I run that diner. Who's bought it and somewhere or another, and he run one. He didn't want to run it no more. And
you say you ran the diner for a while?
Yeah, but it didn't look like it does now. It was just, it was a boxcar. What it was, boxcar.
Was that old boxcar from when when the railroad got decommissioned, or yeah?
Mm-hmm.
What do you remember about that? Because you mentioned you remember being a boy and seeing people get on it to go to and from work.
Yeah.
Around here.
Mm-hmm.
What do you remember about it?
Well, I just remember it coming up here, and it come right through here. See, we was going that road down there. This stuff wasn't in here. The railroad come right up out where the right through where the car wash over sits. That's where the railroad come up. And if you go up here and go through town and get to where, at the edge of town, and get to where you cut back on this road, I'll go back up here. And the depot, train depot, sat right there, across in front of where the old open door church used to be there, where you cut down to go down Dark Holler. That on this side of the road, it's right there where that wall is. You know, it's got all that coloring on it. That's where the depot sat, right there. Yeah. See that road? That road that goes right through town. You get to the where you turn back and get on this road. See, that road went straight ahead, and there used to be a motel set there, and the Marlowe's sisters had a little old restaurant there too, but all that stuff's gone. You see, that motel.
Was there a theater?
Now the theater set right there where Mike Smith's wife got the
thrift store.
It was the next one. The next one down where all that stuff is in there. That was where the theater was. Then the next building was John Patton's place. They called it Patton. Now my mind will go blank on me.
That's all right. You remember when Dick Eller bought the market?
Oh yeah. Now he owned a Western store down there at the old Wheeler Lineback place right in town, right there just before you get to Brinkley's.
Okay.
Or maybe it's right there, yeah. And Minnie Marlowe had a restaurant up there, antique store. That's what I was trying to say. Now right there where Mike Smith's wife had the antique store, the next place was the theater. Next place was John Patton and the store. Then the next place was Wheeler Linebacks. Next place was Brinkley's. Next place was Minnie Marlowe's, little old restaurant up there.
Where the post office is? Has the post office always been there?
Yeah, the post office.
It was before Brinkley.
Seemed like the post office was on up there, a few on the other side of Brinkley's, and they built that new post office there.
Okay.
Yeah. Then we had our church there at the Open Door Baptist Church there. Then the last building there was that Carver fella had that furniture store there.
And that's Old Town.
And they didn't tear it down. It ain't been too long ago. They tore that old furniture store down.
And that's Old Town Elk Park.
Mm-hmm.
Now, were you around when the big storm came through and washed out the railroad? Or were you in the service at that time?
They didn't know storm wash it out. I think
No.
they demolished it. So to build that road through there.
Okay.
Yeah. Now 1936, I was 9 years old. Yeah. And that's when they had a flood in 36. Up there at my grandma's big old house, set up on that, and the river is way down here. I stood on the back porch during that flood and watched them, that water go down through there, flooding, and boy, it was a roaring, and I remember seeing one hog go down through there, and I remember seeing a hay rake go down through there. You know what a hay rake is?
A hay rake?
No, it's pulled by a horse, and you sit on a seat, and go down through there after that hay's cut, and it's got It's got fingers. It's got fingers like that. And that, hey, when that gets full, you mash the thing and flip it up, and it drops that and drops back down and starts scraping again. And that's when they come and get it with and take it and stack it, around the pole. Yeah, people back then, they used them hay rakes. Now they just go through the field and it does all that stuff.
It does the raking, the baling,
the
stacking, everything.
But we'd have to go out there with the horse and sled and load it on a sled, and now sometimes they'd what you call shocking it up, like that in big stacks. They'd be way up high, and we had 2 straight poles, and we'd cut them poles off the end to where they'd kind of be sharp. You run it back, and it would stand out here like that with this, and we'd keep gouging until we got it through to the other end. And we'd do this in the same way.
Right.
Then a man would get up there in front, and a man behind, and we'd pick that shock of hay up and carry it to where they was going to stack it.
Wow.
We didn't have all that fancy equipment back then.
How about them fertilizer bags? You threw a few of those around?
200-pound bags. That's what fertilizer come in. And Ernest McGuire hauled it, and me and my brother John would unload it. 200-pound bags.
What do you think about all this technology we have these days? You're growing up in a time where you didn't have hardly anything, electricity. What was it like seeing all this come about over your lifetime?
Well, I'm glad for it. I'm glad I don't have to, if I want to drink the water, I don't have to go to the spring and drink it or carry it down here in a bucket with a dipper in it. And that's what we up there. If you live between Heaton and Elk Valley or Banner Elk, you see there wasn't no light lines through there. It was lamps. And they had them Aladdin lamps. Boy, they would put out the light, them Aladdin lamps with it. They're kind of hard to explain because you probably wouldn't know what I was talking about. They had wicks in them. And somewhere or another you pumped air in them. And them wicks would be about that big around, about that big. And when you bought them, they had wax on them. Why was that wax on there? Because you could take your finger and touch that wick without that wax, and it'd fall into pieces. You had that Aladdin lamp, and you'd get it fixed up and everything. Then you'd take a match and light it and let that globe up, and that wax go, and that wick, and you put your globe back down, and you adjust that sun, it'd light up a house. And my daddy had one of them. Yeah, it put out more light than that light bulb.
Yeah.
And I remember, it wasn't funny, but it is funny now. My daddy, he got that lamp put together and everything, and put that wick on there, and he lit that little old thing and stuck it up, cocked that thing up and stuck that up in under there to light that Aladdin lamp. And when it done like that and burnt that wax, for some reason or other, it scared him, and he went, he blowed it. When he did that wick, this went everywhere. And no, don't get another wick. But they put the light out. But I old ice boxes and things, and it's expensive, but Lord God, I'll go back to hit down zero, have to go to the bathroom and have to go outside and walk for a while out there to get to the WPA come around and dug holes and put the bathrooms up for people. Because they didn't have no bathrooms in the house. And I think that was under Roosevelt. But I remember the first television I ever seen. I thought, Lord have mercy, God.
Who had the first TV, Sal?
When you go out here and go around this old road and it comes out, but there at the diner, there's a feller had a little old shop there, and I know his name. This is good, somebody, and he got one in. He's selling radios out of there, and he got a television in. He didn't have any for sale, but he got one. He put it up. And people go out there and watch it of the night. And I know that when Rocky Marciano, you didn't want to mess with that boy. And Joe Louis was a champion. But he's a world champion, Joe Louis. That German come over here, Maximilian, and knocked him out in about the second round. And they got a return fight, and Joe beat the dickens out of him.
And you watched it on TV?
Yeah. Marciano come up, and he had about an 8 winning streak, never been whipped. He'd whipped everybody he fought, and he'd had about 8 fights. And he got Joe Louis give him a chance at the championship. And the colored people, they're just braying about him, He can whip all them white people. So they put him in there, and I went out there. I lived up at Buff Eaton. I lived in that chicken house then. They went in there, and it lasted, but the 8th round, he hit Joe and knocked him plumb through the ropes. He went outside of the ropes, and they counted him out. And son, nobody ever whipped him. Now that boy was, gosh dang, he was tough. You don't want to mess with him. But he whipped Joe Louis in, and but he sold radios in there, and that was the first radio I ever had. I bought one from him, and I was going to school up there, getting that $100 a month. And I told him, I said, I think the radio was $8. And I told him, I said, I ain't got no $8, but he said, can you pay me a $1 a week or a month or something? I said, yeah. And so he brought it up there to me and set it up. And that's all we had, that's all the entertainment we had back then was radio. And that's when the Grand Ole Opry was the famous Grand Ole Opry. And that's, we'd listen to the radio of the night.
Who had the first car that you remember?
First car I ever had was a Nash, a green Nash coupe. My cousin brought it in here from Detroit, and let's see, yeah, I bought it, and I went over at Newland, and they got people signed me a note. And I got enough to buy it, and I was supposed to make payments on it so much a month. It was a 41 Nash. They quit making cars in 41, and it was a 41 Nash. I just couldn't pay it, and my brother said, "Don't let this." Said, "Let me have it, and I'll make payments on it." I said, "All right, you can have it."
Yeah.
And he took it, and he got to where he couldn't make payments on it. Charlie Irvin lived on Irvin Road up there, that valley. He was working, I believe, down here at the plant at Elizabethton, and he bought the car from my brother, and that's the first car that I ever had, and I guess first car he ever had. Good old car, old nice, good car. But,
who got power first up here?
I don't know when they run that power up there. I know that Bill Baum was going to this power plant down there, but he never did. It didn't pan out. He went bankrupt and things, and the old place just rotted down, I reckon.
Oh, the old ash plant?
Yeah.
He was trying to do power? He had power?
That was his purpose for building it. But he's going to give them people that live between Heaton and Banner Elk, he was going to run power to the house. And yeah, I'll tell you this, and I've got to go.
Okay.
But that didn't pan out too good for some reason or another. The only power he got to anybody was Jerry's there, where we sat on the porch, that house there. It was only that Ernest McGuire lived in it then.
Was that the first house to get power?
That's the first house to get power. And you look at that light bulb up there and see how wide it is. When he got power into that house and hooked it up and everything, turned it on, them bulbs wouldn't put out much more light than a lamp light put out. They did this red. This wasn't.
Yeah.
Can I ask you one more question before we have to go?
Yeah.
What does it mean to you to be a part of the greatest generation?
Well, it was what?
What does it mean to you to be a part of the greatest generation?
Oh, what does it mean to be?
Yes, sir. You ever had someone attribute that to you? Having been, a part of the people from that time period, having served in World War II, and really just being, part of that group of folks who were just such a important part of the history of this country.
I don't want to be mean when I say this.
Okay.
But people back then in my generation, they had a little sense. They ain't got no damn sense now. I shouldn't have said damn, but they ain't got no sense. People ain't got no sense now. Back then, you didn't have to worry about them stealing anything. You leave your door unlocked. You go off somewhere, you didn't have to lock up. You just look at what we're living in now and look at the things that are going on. And I don't care whether you're Democrat or whether you're Republican. The truth is the truth. It don't stop the truth. United States right now is run by 50% of them are this is crazy. They ain't got a lick of sense. They're crazy people. They wasn't that way back when I was growing up. No. If you felt a man needed help, he got help. If he didn't have nothing to eat, you wouldn't go around. If he had a crop and he got sick in bed and he had a crop out, his neighbors would come and hoe his crop. It didn't make no difference whether you was a Democrat or you were a Republican. My sister married a Democrat. My cousin married a Democrat. J.D. Ellis and Clark Ellis, they wasn't no finer people in Avery County than J.D. Ellis and Clark Ellis if they did marry my kinfolk. They was Democrats. I was Republican. But they just, people, we're living in a crazy world right now. And I don't want to brag, but I can take the Bible and I can show you what's going on. The Bible tells you this is going to happen in the last days. What's the last days? In the last days, peerless times shall come. What does the last days mean? The last days means just before the rapture of the church. What does peerless times mean? It means there'll be things happen that you have never seen happen before. You'll hear of things that you've never heard of before. Is that what we're witnessing right now? That's what we're witnessing right now. Now, Trump, he's got a good heart. And he's worried about Iran, these Iraqi getting killed. But he says there are thousands of them getting killed every day. I can take that Bible right there, and I can show you. And if you don't believe me, I can take it and show you.
I believe you, but if you want to show me,
I don't have time now.
That's all right. I understand.
But God is going to kill them all. And he tells where they're going to come from. Right over there where Trump is trying to. God bless Trump. He's got a good heart. He's trying to get that stopped. Because he said there are people getting killed over there. God is going to kill so many of them. And now I know this sounds like a fairy tale. Oh, Lord, have mercy. What are you talking about? He's going to kill so many of them that the blood from them is going to be up as deep as a horse's bridle. You ever heard of that before?
Mm-hmm.
You didn't know it was in the Bible, did you?
I don't think I've heard that specifically. But
the blood is going to be as deep as a horse's bridle.
Yes, sir. I'd say if I stand beside a horse ahead here, I'd say that bridle would be up somewhere. Yeah. Blood's going to. You can believe the Bible because that's the only thing that's truth anymore. You don't know when a man tells you something. You don't know whether it's a truth or whether it's a lie.
That's right.
Not this right here. That's truth right there.
Yes, sir.
That's truth. You can believe every word that says. You can believe every word it says.
Now, what do you think was the main thing that changed during your lifetime? Between that time when people had sense and now when they don't?
He's got to go, bro. He's got to go.
All right.
Well, let me tell him this.
Okay.
When God said he'd withdraw his strength from people last days. And when he does that, people go crazy. You know, that's the only thing keeps a man from insanity is God. And when he withdraws that from you, he put that in there when he made it, man. When he withdraws that from you, you go crazy. You go crazy as a lunatic. Now, I'm not just a crazy old man. I can prove every word I say. If I couldn't prove it, I wouldn't tell it to you. It's going to happen one of these days.
Thank you for sharing that.
We'll be back, Sam.
All right.
We'll see you later.
Okay.
We love you, bro.